Hi everyone! Today in science we are going to talk about plant adaptations with our favorite science teacher, Miss Bocci. Our goals and objectives for this lesson are: I can describe how plants are different from each other, I can describe how some plants can survive in hot weather, and I can describe how other plants survive in cold weather. What are plants? This is a review of something that we learned in February, so I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about what plants mean to you. What do you think of when you think of plants? What I think of when I think of plants are that plants are living things, just like people and animals. Plants grow, and plants come in all different colors, sizes, and shapes. If you thought of some of these things too, you did a great job. What are the parts of a plant? This is also a review of something that we learned already, so I'll give you a few minutes to think of the names for the 5 parts of a plant. Okay, the 5 parts of a plant are the flower, the leaves, the seeds, the stem, and the roots. Great job. What do plants need to survive? We learned before that plants need nutrients from the dirt, they need water, they need air, and they need sunlight. Thank you, Miss Bocci. All plants are different, but why are plants different? First, I'm going to let you try and think of some different kinds of plants. Okay, the types of plants that I think of are a cactus, a tomato plant, a tree, a pine tree, seaweed, grass, and flowers. Did you think of any of these kinds? Did you think of some other kinds? Let's see what Miss Bocci thought of. She thought of a cactus also. She thought of grass. And she thought of trees. Good job, Miss Bocci. The reason that plants are all different is because they live in different places. Can you think of some different places that a plant might live? Maybe some of the different biomes that we've talked about in science this year? All right, some of the places that I think that a plant might live are a forest, a tropical rainforest, the tundra, the desert, and even underwater. Let's check out our next slide. What is an adaptation? An adaptation is a change that makes a plant or an animal better for living in a specific kind of environment. As we can see in the picture below, a polar bear is white because it helps it blend in with the snow in its environment. Miss Bocci adapts to her summer environment and then changes to adapt in the winter by wearing a coat to help with the cold weather. The first biome that we're going to look at is a desert. What do you think of when you think of a desert? What are some key words that might describe a desert? A desert is dry, sunny, hot, and sandy. You might have thought of some others, but these are the 4 that I thought of. Plants adapt in different ways to live in the desert environment. The first desert plant adaptation is shallow roots. The roots on a desert plant do not go very deep into the dirt. They stay close to the surface because that's where all the water is in the desert. Plants have shallow roots in the desert so that they can get the water that is near the surface. That is the first adaptation of a desert plant. Ms. Bocci thinks this is a great idea. The plants are smart for adapting in this way. The second adaptation of a desert plant is that they store water inside themselves. That way, when there isn't any rain, they can drink the water that they have stored inside. Here's the water storage inside a cactus. Look, Ms. Bocci also stores water for when she's thirsty. She stores her water in a cooler. The third adaptation of a desert plant is that they live far apart from each other. There's always space between them. In this way, they don't have to share the little amount of water that is in the desert. They each have their own supply. There is always space between cacti in the desert. Ms. Bocci thinks this is a great idea. She also thinks you should keep your distance from her. Another adaptation of a desert plant is that they have waxy skin. The waxy skin keeps water inside the plant and makes it hard for the water to leave the plant. Ms. Bocci thinks this is another great idea of desert plants. Another adaptation of desert plants is that they often have spines. The spines on the desert plant are to protect it from animals that might want to come and eat it. An animal will come and try to eat the plant, see the dangerous spines, and run away. A final adaptation of desert plants is that they have colorful flowers. The colorful flowers attract bees and butterflies and other pollinators so that they help pollinate the flowers so they can make more plants. Bees and butterflies. The next biome that we'll look at is a tundra. Before we talk about plant adaptations in a tundra, let's review what a tundra is. What are some words that you think of when you think of a tundra? I think of cold, dark, windy, and icy. That's right, Ms. Bocci, that is cold. The first adaptation of plants in the tundra is similar to plants in the desert. Plants in the tundra also have shallow roots, but for a different reason. Plants in the tundra have shallow roots because the ground is frozen and their roots can't dig deep. Which of these two plants has shallow roots? That's right. This plant has shallow roots that stay close to the surface. A second adaptation of tundra plants is that they only grow short and they stay close to the ground. They do this because it's very windy in the tundra, and if they stay close to the ground, the wind can't blow them away. Just like when Ms. Bocci hides close to the ground to avoid cold wind. Another adaptation of plants in the tundra is that they live very close together, or they live next to a rock. In this way, they can avoid the cold weather and they can absorb the warmth from other plants or from the rock. What's that, Ms. Bocci? This is what you do with your cats at home? Interesting. Another biome that plants live in is the rainforest. In the rainforest, there are often tall trees, so the plants on the ground need to climb up the tall trees in order to reach the sunlight, because sunlight is something that plants need. Do you see the plant climbing in this picture? That's right, there it is. It looks like Ms. Bocci will climb up and reach the sunlight also. In the ocean biome, plants grow on the ocean floor. Because it's hard for sunshine to reach down to the ocean floor, the plants need to grow tall and straight to reach the sunlight at the top of the water. They grow up. That is it for our science PowerPoint today. I hope that you learned a lot about plant adaptations. Please let me know if you have questions. The next step for this remote learning lesson will be to complete the Google Slides worksheet that you can find in the Google Classroom. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you all soon. Bye.